Evening, folks, ladies and gentlemen. I just got back home. I was in Akron. Yeah, had a great time up there with my daughters, and now I'm back home, about to get back to the lab, get back to the grind. And for this video, as you can see, this will be for the questions. So I have some questions here to answer today. So let's get to it. I'm using my tripod, a new tripod. If you guys are watching my stream video on Facebook, this is the tripod I showed you guys. This is for my iPhone. This is very, very convenient and way better than what I was doing before, because usually I would put the iPhone on my laptop and record like that. But this is very useful. I can adjust it, and it's very sturdy. Great tripod here. All right, let's get to it. First question by TYA. How hard is the grammar of Burmese for a native English speaker? Is it similar to that of Mandarin as they are related? Also, any tips for pronouncing the Burmese tones? They seem to be quite different from the tones of other Asian languages. Regarding Korean, as the grammar seems very difficult, how do you think one should approach learning it? Final question. How much time do you dedicate to studying languages every day? I hope this wasn't too many questions. Thank you and keep up the great work. Your channel was so inspiring. All right, thank you for the question, TYA. Let's go back up to your first question. So you asked me how hard is the grammar of Burmese for a native English speaker? Is it similar to that of Mandarin as they are related? So to a native English speaker, it's pretty difficult. Why? Because they have Burmese is an SOV language, which means subject, object, verb. They basically, it's backwards. Okay, you have the subject first, the object, and the verb. The verb is, for example, if you say, for example, you say something like, I today sushi want to eat. That's the structure of Burmese. That's SOV. As you can see, the verb is at the end. So yeah, for a native English speaker, it'd be quite difficult because of the structure. It's not related. It is. I think, what are they? I think Mandarin and Burmese are cousins or something like that, but grammatically they're not related. Totally different. Totally different. Okay, the grammar, Burmese grammar is more related to Korean and Japanese, Hindi, Persian than to Chinese, Vietnamese, Thai, and whatnot. Also, any tips for pronouncing the Burmese tones? And they seem to be quite different from the tones of other languages. My tip, just for any language with a tone, you just have to listen, get in the habit of listening to the language and practicing speaking, like pronouncing, enunciating the words. Get in the habit of just listening and enunciating, practice over and over, doing all that stuff. When you get in the habit of doing that, have some good audio you can listen to. You can listen to how the words are being pronounced, enunciated, how the tones are being pronounced. So you can mimic that, and you'll get in the habit of doing that, and then you'll get used to them. That's my tip. You can do that. I mean, that you can use that tip for any language, but it's really important for the tone language for you to listen a whole lot and try to practice as much as you can. Regarding Korean, as the grammar seems very difficult, how do you think one should approach learning it? So, as I mentioned, Korean grammar is just like Burmese, and I made a lot of videos talking about this. This is my opinion. When it comes to learning grammar, it doesn't matter how difficult it doesn't matter how difficult a grammar is. Yes, Korean has difficult grammar, Arabic has difficult grammar, Georgian, Russian, Polish, all these languages have difficult grammar. But if you use the same approach to learn those languages, you will be successful. And what type of approach am I talking about? A non-grammatical approach. You know, a more traditional way of learning. Play with the language. Get the language inside of you. Just get to know it. Just be aware of certain things before you touch the grammar. And when you do that, when it's time to come to the grammar, you will notice that things will make a lot of sense. You'll be able to understand it more clear than you would if you would have started off with the grammar. So if you approach the language with a non-grammatical approach, I think it won't really matter how difficult the grammar is, you know, because you just internalize it, you just naturally absorb this stuff, just like how you did with your own language when you were a kid. You know, we didn't know grammar before going to grammar school, or you know what, we started going to school at the age of 5. we didn't know grammar, you know, but you know, despite not knowing grammar, we know how to speak. Okay, that's just a fact, and that's how I will approach a language with a difficult grammar. Final question: how much time do you dedicate to studying a language every day? Okay, so basically for me, I am right now studying Finnish and Polish full time. So my schedule now, which I recently changed, I have immersion days and I have just regular, you know, days that I do, you know, I practice with a native speaker and whatnot. Like for example, tomorrow, today is Sunday, tomorrow will be my Polish day, my immersion day, which means I will watch some cartoons, I would listen to radio, I would do all that for the whole day. Now, I'm not saying that I'll sit in front of the computer all day, but I will make sure I'm doing something pretty much throughout the day. Like even if that means just turning on audio and having my earphones and just listening to that, you know, just letting it play. And I don't really have to pay attention to it. I just use that for my immersion, reading books and all that stuff. And then I meet with my partner on Skype. Now, just because it's an immersion day, it doesn't mean that I don't do anything else with the other language like Finnish. Now, Finnish, I am doing something with that. Like I will be doing something Finnish tomorrow. What will that be? That will be meeting with my partner on Skype. We will meet, we will practice Finnish, and then Tuesday will be a Finnish immersion day where now Polish, I don't have to worry about doing all that listening and whatnot, but I will still meet with my partner on Tuesday. So pretty much every day, I have a partner I meet with to practice the language with on Skype. But on my immersion days, those are the days that I spend more time with the language, and I can't really put a number on the number of hours that I do that because it's definitely different. You know, I can't say, oh, I just do 2 hours, 3 hours. But if someone were to ask me, what would I recommend? What would be sufficient for studying each day? I would say at least 3 hours. It don't have to be a consecutive 3 hours, but if you could do it for 3 hours, that would be good. So that's what I'm doing right now for my languages. So I can't really, like I said, I can't really tell you, oh, I'm doing it for 8 hours, I'm doing it for 9 hours, you know, because sometimes it may be 6 hours, it may be 9 hours, it may be 10 hours or something. It's just different. But my immersion days, I don't really keep track of the time. I just do it. You know, I'll work on one thing and I'll move on. Like, for example, I'll read it like this. This is my Finnish book. I'll read this book, and once I finish reading this, I'll read another book. I'll take a break, and then I'll go ahead and listen to. I'll turn on the radio and just listen to it, and you know, while I'm cleaning or doing something else. That's what my schedule consists of. All right. I appreciate the questions, TYA. I really do. Thanks for watching my videos and participating in this. I really do appreciate it. I hope that wasn't too many questions. No, it wasn't too many questions. That actually was good. Next question by Thalric. I think that's how you pronounce it. He said, how many languages do you speak fluently or at least at a conversational level? Also, what language did you have the most fun learning? Okay, this is a very common question. How many languages do you speak fluently or conversational or at least at conversation level? Now, I'm not going to say, oh, I speak this and this and fluent because, you know, that's kind of controversial. People say, oh, you say you speak this, you know, you don't. But I'm going to just use this conversational. At least I'm going to use that. I'm going to go by that. So I could be safe. I could be safe from that. At least conversational. I can speak at least, I would say, let me see, probably between 15, maybe between, dang, I don't know. Definitely over 10, okay? I don't want to make it seem like I'm guessing, but I know for a fact it's over 10 languages that I could speak at least conversational level. Some of those languages are better than the other ones, and some of them I could just, you know, have basic conversations in. But yeah, it's definitely more than 10, okay? Also, what language did you have the most fun learning? I have fun learning all my languages, but I do have a favorite language, and I would say that's Cantonese. I say that many times. It's just something about that language that I really enjoy. It's something that I feel when I speak that language that I don't feel when I speak another different language. I don't know what it is, but that's just how it is. Thanks for your question. I really do appreciate it. Next question, Rachel Dunsweiler, looks like a German. So, hey, Lost Shoe, when you're listening, do you just have it on in the background? Is it mostly focused listening? How do you not get discouraged if you can't understand what's being said? Thank you and best of luck. Okay, thanks for your question. I just talked about this, about what I do on my immersion days. When I listen to audio, especially at the beginning stage, I don't try to understand it. I don't listen to the audio to try to understand. Now, you're going to naturally start understanding things. The more you listen to it and studying the language, you're just going to naturally start hearing words, phrases, and then eventually conversational stuff. That's just part of the process when you're actually making an effort to learn the language. If you're not making an effort to learn the language, you're just listening, it's going to be hard to really pick up stuff and understand what's going on, especially if there isn't any script or whatever. But mainly when I start a new language, I listen to it for the rhythm, for the accent, the pronunciation. I pay attention not to what I don't pay attention to what they are saying as far as trying to understand. I only pay attention to the way they enunciate the words and how the emphasis they put on the words, the accent and all that. I pay close attention to that because there may be some words that I'll be saying in the language and they say it a certain way. I say, okay, they're native speakers. They say it this way. I should say it that way. So I listen very closely on how they enunciate the words. In the podcast, it could be anything, podcast, a radio station, whatever I'm using to listen to that language. I pay close attention to what's being enunciated. And since that's my goal, that's what I try to do. I don't get discouraged because I'm not trying to understand them. Now, when I get on a higher level, yeah, I may turn it on and say, okay, let me see how much I can understand here. But I don't worry about that in the early stages. I don't. So I just have a plan. I have a plan in the back. So now, like I said in the for the previous question or the previous two questions, the guy asked me, or no, he didn't ask me. I just said that I will have during my immersion days, I will have the audio. I'll turn it on sometimes to just have a plan, not even paying attention to it, just doing my thing. You know, you don't really have to pay attention to it because it's like having something in the background that you're learning is something about that's really good, that's beneficial to your learning. But yeah, I don't get discouraged. I don't get discouraged because I have goals of what I'm doing. Like how I just explained, I don't try to understand what's being said. It's very motivating once I do come to the point of being able to understand words. And I say, oh wow, he said this. I just learned that. Now that's very motivating. If you can't understand what is being, okay, oh yeah, do you not get discouraged if you can't understand what's being said? They go, okay, yeah. So I hope I answered your question thoroughly. I really do appreciate it, Rachel. Thanks for participating. Next question. iTuber. How you doing, man? I know this guy. Resources for Amharic are strangely hard to come by. Is there an Amharic keyboard for Windows and phones like all the other languages? Amharic FLR teachers available. Keyboard for Amharic, there is, but you have to download it. It's not accessible if you just go to the options and download it like that. You can't access it. They don't have at least, I mean, last time I tried, they didn't have it. No, I'll take that back. They do have, it's called Geez. It's Geez. I think you can download, I think you can get it on your iPhone. And you may be able to get it on Windows as well. If not, you have to use a different type of program and search for the font and install it like that. Amharic FLR. Now, yeah, I do have Amharic FLR. I only have level 1 though. Level 2 was being worked on, but I had lost contact with that guy. But I do have Amharic level 1. If you're interested in that, just contact me. Let me know. We can set something up so I can get that course over to you. There isn't a teacher self available for Amharic. The only other, as far as courses, I know there's a colloquial Amharic, and there's another course. It's not as thick as the colloquial, but they do have another course for it. They even teach you how to read and write the language. All right, super. Thanks for the message. Thanks for your comment and your questions, man. I hope everything is going well with you lately. I haven't spoken with you for a while on Skype. Hope all is well with you and your family. Next question, Johnny Des. Hey Moses, how do you divide your study time? Like, how many minutes a day do you devote to reading, listening, grammar, flashcards, watching movies, etc. things? So thanks a lot for your question, Johnny. So this goes with what I was just talking about. Someone asked me, how do I divide my like, how do I go about studying? They didn't get into any specifics like you did, but really it's just like how I said, like my immersion days, I do more for that particular language. Like since tomorrow will be my Polish day, I'll be doing a lot of things for Polish. I'll do my grammar. I'll make my sentences. I'll read some books. I'll do a lot of stuff. You know, Finnish, I don't really do anything on that day because I have my meeting with my friend, and it's a Polish immersion day. And then when I switch for Tuesday, I go to Finnish and do the same thing. And I don't have to worry about listening to all this Polish stuff and doing all this other immersion stuff. It's really, because I tried that. That was my original schedule. I was every day. I would say, okay, in the morning time, I'm gonna work on this. I'm gonna try this out and see how that works. And then when it was time to put that language down, I didn't want to put it down because I was like stuck. I wanted to keep doing more, and it was difficult. I was like, okay, now, and sometimes I end up with like only 2 hours or 3 hours left in the day to work on other language. Now that's a lot of time. That's a good time, but I want to do more. So that's why I decided to go ahead and just do 1 day on, 1 day off, and that's not bad. And also considering that I'm meeting with my partners every day, you know, for both languages. So that's what I do. So if I'm using flashcards, watching movies and stuff, grammar, listening, I do those on immersion days, and there's no time limit. I can't tell you like I spend an hour on this, spend an hour on that. You know, everybody's different. Everybody use their time differently to work on certain things. I just do it. Like I said, I'll read that book, and once I finish reading that book, I may switch to my writing exercises. Now, my writing exercise, I use Asimil. I do that. Actually, tomorrow I'm going to do another Polish writing exercise. I do that every week. I try to do that on my, well, let me see. Yeah, every week I try to do that. And I post it up on Instagram and Facebook just to give people an idea what I do. But that's my writing exercise. That's how I practice writing the language. So, yeah. So that just goes to, that was similar to the previous question I got from the previous person. Thanks a lot for your question nonetheless. I really do appreciate it. Yeah, those are the questions. So like I said before, if you guys have any questions, just on this particular video, post them. I actually don't choose these questions. I have a buddy who does my editing, and he's actually choosing these questions. He's going through the videos and he's choosing the questions for me, and he just sends them to me, and I just put them together like how I did, and I'll just read them and answer them. So I'm not sure what videos he's watching like to get those questions, but just if you have any questions, just post them, and your question may get chose. So that is it for this video. If you guys have any questions, just post them below. If it's something else, you can send me an email. My email is provided in the description area. So that is it, and hopefully, well, not hopefully, I'm gonna have a good week this week. Last week wasn't really good for me. I had a lot of stuff going on, personal stuff, and I was really distracted, and I didn't have a good week for my studies last week. It was just, yeah, last week wasn't good, but this week is going to be good, and yeah, but yeah, that's good. I'm happy. I'm not stressed out. I'm doing my thing. I'm grinding every day, doing what I got to do, and I hope you guys are doing the same. If you have any questions, just leave them in the description area or send me an email. All right? All righty, you guys take it easy. Good night, and I'll see you guys in the next video. You guys already know what I'm about to do. Okay, my Patreon followers, I forgot. It's been a while because I didn't make any videos last week like this. So my perks, I have to mention these people. Put them in my description area because they're following me on Patreon. So Patreon, a lot of you know what Patreon is. I have a Patreon page. You can check out my Patreon page in the description area. If you don't know what Patreon is, you can search it up on Google and see what that is. But I started that like several weeks ago, and I have right now 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 Patreon followers. Okay, and so Trevor McVeety, that's my first. He was my very first Patreon follower, and he had contributed $1 to my page. Drew G is the second. He contributed $5. Michael Brigola, he contributed $5. SAKITA Martin, he contributed $5. MCT or TAPERA, he contributed $5. And this guy actually has a YouTube channel. It's in my other description, like in the last video, but I'm going to copy and paste all this stuff in my description area of this video. Ryan Ford contributed $1. And then Daniel PENDERGRAFT contributed $5. So those are my Patreon followers. So I almost forgot. Yeah, so I appreciate that. Love you guys. If you guys have any questions about anything, You know what to do. Just send me a message via, well, if you're on my Skype, you can send me a message on Skype. You can send me a message through my email, everything. I have all kinds of ways to be contacted. There is no reason for you not to be able to contact me. Everything's there. Everything's there in the description area. You'll be able to contact me easily, and I check all of my messages every day. YouTube messages, everything. If you send me a message and say, "Oh, you never got back to me," it must have been you must have used the wrong email account or something, because it's impossible. I check all my messages every day. That's just part of my job. I have to. You know, that's part of running my business. I have to make sure people are satisfied and getting what they need. You know what I'm saying? But that's it. You guys take care, and thanks again for all my Patreon followers. If you guys are interested in my Patreon page, go check it out. I got some nice perks, and yeah, that is it. Let me know if you have any questions, and you guys take it easy. I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.